Welcome back, and today we'll be taking a look at Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. We start the film with an ordinary boy named Charlie Bucket. He was not faster, stronger, or more clever than any other children. His family was not rich or powerful, they were really poor who barely had enough to eat. Charlie lives at home in a crickety old house with his father Mr. Bucket, his mother Mrs. Bucket, and both of his grandfathers and grandmothers.
Hi, Dad.
Charlie's grandfather, Grandpa Joe, used to work with a man named Willy Wonka, a man that began to sell chocolate bars at a single store on Cherry Street. The man was a genius. The whole world wanted his chocolate, and he came up with new ideas and creations for candy. Willy Wonka then decided to build a proper chocolate factory, the largest chocolate factory in history. A while later, other chocolate companies began to grow jealous of Willy Wonka. They even hired spies to steal his secret formula. So Willy Wonka decided to close his chocolate factory for good.
I'm closing my chocolate factory forever. I'm sorry.
Charlie's grandma then whispers to Charlie, "Nothing is impossible, Charlie."
Nothing's impossible, Charlie.
Charlie then runs up to his room, which is upstairs, and the only way to get up is by ladder. There are holes in his roof, and there are Willy Wonka chocolate wrappers glued to his wall, besides his bed frame. Charlie hopelessly wanders, looking out into the distance, looking at Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. But little did Charlie know, his life that night would change forever. The next morning, people start to notice Willy Wonka flyers, stapled to light posts. The flyer reads, "The first child to find a golden ticket is a German boy named Augustus. The second child to find a golden ticket is an English girl named Veruca, who had help through her wealthy father, who is in the nut business. He tells his workers instead of shelling peanuts to unwrap chocolate bars instead. The third ticket was found by a girl named Violet, who lives in Atlanta, Georgia. The fourth golden ticket was found by a boy named Mike TV, who lives in Denver, Colorado. That means there is only one golden ticket left. With 2 tries, Charlie hasn't found the last golden ticket. As Charlie walks across the snowy road, he notices there is a $10 bill. He picks it up and walks into the nearest convenience store. Charlie buys his last Wonka bar, and he slowly unwraps it. He notices gold and unwraps it more, and there is a golden ticket. Charlie races home.
I found it! The last golden ticket! It's mine!
Charlie's parents decide Grandpa Joe should take him to the chocolate factory. The 5 children and their mums and dads and grandparents arrive to the chocolate factory and enter the gate. We finally meet Willy Wonka.
It's Willy Wonka.
Really?
Willy Wonka then guides them through the chocolate factory. Through a little door, the whole room is made out of chocolate. The grass, the river, everything is eatable. They begin to roam around. Veruca begins to notice a little person, and more show up. Mike TV says, "Are they real people?" Willy Wonka replies,
Of course they're real people. They're Oompa Loompas.
We then see Augustus trying to eat everything and falls into the chocolate river, but he is saved by the Oompa Loompas and one of the pipes. Veruca's dad says that all seemed rather rehearsed. Mike says like they knew it was going to happen. We then flash back to Willy Wonka's childhood. On a Halloween night, he is wearing a ghost costume, searching for candy with his friends. Willy Wonka's dad was the most famous dentist in the city. His father empties his Halloween candy and is very disapproving of the chocolate and candy, and he throws it into the fire. We flash. He tells them to watch this. He pulls a lever off a machine, and a piece of chewing gum comes out. Willy Wonka then explains this gum is a 3-course meal. Violet then tries the gum. Willy Wonka warns her there is still a few things need patching. Her nose starts to turn violet, then her whole face, then body. She begins to swell up like a blueberry. Willy Wonka then directs the Oompa Loompas to take Violet to the juicer room to squeeze her like a pimple. Willy Wonka then takes the rest to the nut room, where squirrels are trained to take nuts out of the shells. Veruca asks her dad if she can have one of the squirrels. Veruca asks Willy Wonka, how much for a squirrel? Name your price. Willy Wonka replies, they're not for sale. Frustrated, Veruca walks down the ladder. The squirrels go crazy and jump all over Veruca. The squirrel checks to see if Veruca is a bad nut. She is a bad nut after all. They then throw her down the garbage chute. Veruca's dad goes down to check on her, but then is pushed down the garbage chute by one of the squirrels. That leaves only Mike TV and Charlie left. Willy Wonka then takes them to the testing room, where he tells them to put on goggles to see his new invention, television chocolate. He's invented a teleporter, and Mike TV runs and jumps into the teleporter. Mike is in the TV. Mike's father pulls him out of the TV, and Mike has shrunk in size. Willy Wonka then tells the Oompa Loompas to take Mr. TV and his boy to the taffy puller.
See? Now, how many children are left? Where do you live?
Right over there. That little house.
When do you think they'll be back?
Hard to know, dear.
I think there's someone at the door.
Hi, Mum!
Something. The most something of any something that's ever been. I'm gonna give this little boy my entire factory.
You must be joking.
No, really, it's true. Because you see, a few months ago, I was having my semi-annual haircut, and I had the strangest revelation. In that one silver hair, I saw reflected my life's work, my factory, my beloved Oompa Loompas. Who would watch over them after I was gone? I realized in that moment, I must find a hair.
Willy Wonka repeated his offer to Charlie, who accepted on one condition.
Sorry we're late. We were brainstorming.
Thought I heard thunder.
You staying to dinner, Willy?
Yes, please.
I'll shuffle the plates.
You smell like peanuts. I love peanuts.
Oh, thank you. You smell like old people and soap. I like it.
Elbows off the table, Charlie.
How do you feel about little raspberry kites?
With licorice instead of string.
Boys, no business at the dinner table.
Sorry, Mum.
I think you're onto something, though, Charlie.
In the end, Charlie Bucket won a chocolate factory. But Willy Wonka got something even better. A family. And one thing was absolutely certain. Life has never been sweeter.